Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone out there is doing absolutely fantastic. And that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. It's a free and easy way to support the channel and to help out my YouTube algorithm. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. I don't know when the shift happened. I don't know how we looped over back here. I actually assume it's because of a relatively large amount of enthusiasms within the cryptocurrency space. You might have remembered a couple of weeks ago, we were getting quite intense news. XRP price predictions of $300 by the time we get to November. We heard the $1.5 million Ether price prediction. We're getting a lot of $500,000. I mean, those are seemingly commonplace now for Bitcoin. But years ago, within the crypto market, we used to receive a lot of guesstimation news where people would get information, they would think they knew what it meant, they would release that news to the public would go wild for that news because they thought it was actually something that was happening, and then subsequently someone would find out that it wasn't actually taking place. A lot of people wouldn't believe that it wasn't true, and they would still believe it themselves anyway. And for some reason, we seem to be moseying back over into that neck of the woods. And I would assume, once again, I think it's because we're at that point now where everyone is expecting prices to double, triple, quadruple, like that kind of thing, 5x, 10x in the market. So there seems to be something is happening in some neck of the woods that no one's telling us. People are looking through documents and trying to put constellations together themselves. This is a fairly common thing that we've seen often within the crypto space, but it's like, okie dokie. So there's a company by the name of SBI. It's actually a banking consortium in Asia, I think centered in Japan. They became quite popular in 2017. I'm sure the name rings a bell. It's namely because their CEO of the entire banking consortium announced that he was not only working with Ripple, he's a board member at the Ripple company, and he loves XRP. So anytime these people breathe heavily, people will take out something to try and see if the breathing pattern sounds like XRP. XRP. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. So recently something happened and it popped up all over the news, and then wouldn't you know it? So people found their Q2 earnings report. This is something quite normal for every company in the world. They tend to have a Q1, Q3, Q4, 9, 6, 8, 15 report as to the money they made, the money they lost, how they're doing, their plans for the future. People found the charts for the plans for their future and ascertained themselves that something was on the way. It says SBI Holdings has put in the paperwork for a dual asset crypto ETF offering direct exposure to both Bitcoin and XRP in a rare instance where XRP is formally bundled with Bitcoin in an institutional grade product. Here's the actual thing right here for those of you not looking at the screen. It looks like someone's first time using a computer. This looks like it's from 1997. Like, this is actually a little bit weird that this was, I believe, done by the actual banking consortium. And it goes into, the money that they made and where they're planning on moving their money and their funds, and this is going to happen and blah, 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 blah. So the hyper long and short of it, for those of you who are intrigued, if you will, by this photo of a cartoon slamming his fist onto a table, I'm pretty sure you can see where this is actually going. Japanese financial services conglomerate SBI Holdings has denied media reports that the company had filed for crypto-related exchange-traded funds. The problem is that this isn't actually the media. It's just random people who keep making cryptocurrency website articles, and they don't actually do any research. This is a problem that we have quite often in crypto. Years ago, for those of you who might be too young to know, this is the olden times. Normally, if you wanted a job as a journalist, you needed to have gone to school for it, so that you actually had some kind of relative, the word's not even integrity, that you basically researched. What happens quite often now is that someone on Twitter will post something in an article that they found somewhere. So remember years ago, we had a lot of people, it was from Bitcoin, from Ether, from Tron, you name it. If someone found an article or something that someone related to that product said, they would then make a post on Twitter. If they had 1.1 million followers, one of their followers would have at some point then retweeted it and said, Maximilian Pegasus has just said that this company is going to be doing this. A lot of other cryptocurrency news platforms would then find that from the original post and say, well, he has 1.1 million followers, therefore he knows what he's talking about, and they would make articles about it. And then at some point over the course of history, it would be in the news, we would talk about it, and then the next day, there would be another article being like, oh no, actually, that was an article that someone got from Reddit, and it's like, okay, so the news is, I can dig much further because it actually gets a little bit weirder. The news basically is that SBI released their quarterly report for their company and it basically announced their intentions that they would like to, at some point in the future, potentially file for a Bitcoin ETF and potentially an XRP ETF, and maybe at some point even one that combined both of the two. This news story was then run away with by people who said they filed, they did it, as opposed to they have intentions of in the future being able to do it. It was also reported in a number of places that not only had it been secretly filed, but that it was going to be one of the ETFs that was going to be approved. Right. So, yeah. This is what I'm saying. I don't know how we swung back over here, but a lot of the news, I'm seeing more and more of it, is a lot of hypey anticipation. This is going to happen. You're not going to believe it. This is happening in secret. And historically, this isn't a lie. Historically, a lot of that does come from the XRP lovers within the space. They find some kind of information that someone said something. They'll find out that 8 days before, that person who said something had a meeting with someone from the US Fed. And they'll clink together, well, Fed meeting, they said this thing after the meeting. That must mean that the Fed is going to be using XRP on September 21st of 2026. It sounds like a joke, but this is literally how a lot of XRP news ends up running around. That's why you might remember last year, we had direct news from the people. This is the crazy part. we had direct news from the company Ripple, like from the digital horse's mouth, telling us, hey, we're working with 12 central banks. Central banks are doing this. We're helping these central banks build their central bank digital currency. It's going to run on top of the XRP blockchain. And I remember being like, this is amazing news, because everything that Ripple said they were going to do is actually coming true. You know, that wasn't popular news because it wasn't fantastical enough. It wasn't some people for some reason in crypto. And if you can explain it to me, I don't know why. People in crypto love like secrets. They love the idea that they've pieced something together, that they saw the writings on the wall, that they are the Rain Man, that they are the person who... It's a really interesting phenomenon, and it mainly happens within crypto. So yes, SBI apparently is, and no. Let's move a bit further so that we can get the full picture, and then move on. Media reports circulated on Wednesday saying that SBI had filed an ETF application for two products, a dual gold and crypto ETF, and a dual Bitcoin and XRP ETF. The stories cited the company's earnings report. However, as Cointelegraph reported, this is, I think, one of the only websites that actually reported that all of that wasn't true. Think about that. All the other news sources posted something that was fake and didn't correct themselves. Cointelegraph reported the earnings report did not clearly confirm whether an application had been filed. In a statement to Cointelegraph on Friday, a representative clarified, contrary to some media reports, we have not filed any applications with the authority to form an ETF related to crypto assets, end quote. So this will probably continue. I mean, and also this is typically a bull run indicator. It's usually a lot of, I don't want to use the term nonsense, but nonsense tends to be thrown out there and then people get really hyped about things. It's weird all the time that the actual news that we get that is real, that Ripple's actually doing, the companies who are buying Bitcoin. Remember how, so for those of you who missed it, and you might have, a lot of videos got it. There was something a few months ago. I mean, even the last 2 months, every day there's been news about a company, 3 companies, 9 companies buying Bitcoin, buying Ether, buying so and so and so. There was a rumor somewhere that, was it Vanguard? I don't remember what it was, that some big company had secretly been buying Bitcoin, and that became the popular news. It's never like reality. It's never what's actually going on. It's always like, look over there, that new shiny thing. It's like, you know how I've said 1,000 times, like, that we've won, right? Like, not trying to be cocky by any means. It's more like Bitcoin's in everything. Bitcoin for mortgages, Bitcoin 401k. We're doing pretty gosh darn well for ourselves. But so few people in crypto actually use reality as a base for their investments. It's, well, I heard that in next March of next year, Ripple might be doing, and if you looked at the facts and things that are happening now and what these companies are actually doing, and you hear that all, billions of dollars are being accumulated, there's no need to really look forward 19 months to say that's going to be when I get into crypto, as opposed to being like, wait, look at all the stuff that we've been getting nonstop. That's the good news that we're getting every day. So yeah, SBI at some point is probably going to do this. We don't know if it's going to be in the US or if it's going to be in Japan. Either way, it's going to happen. We are nearing, heaven help us, September, October, the time frame where we are supposed to hear about 18 plus yeses or noses About XRP ETFs within the United States, I said before, assumption we are going to at least get half of them realistically. So everyone should be quite happy just about, in general, because we keep getting good news all the time. So, that just kind of, that should have some sort of an effect on the market, as it were. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. Hope everyone out there is doing great. Hope everyone out there is having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting on the video, and supporting the channel. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.